Hello Internet, Taliesin here, and today we are talking literature, because this video sees something of a first for our channel, a book review. Yeah, we've been wanting to do a book review for a while now, but we just couldn't decide between World of Warcraft Chronicle Volume 2, I Didn't Ask to Be Born, But I'm Glad I Was, the Bill Cosby story, or Taken by the T-Rex. Now, you may be thinking that's an easy choice. After all, only one of these books has lines like, "When the angry T-Rex corners the huntress in a box canyon, it seems more interested in her wet womanhood than in her flesh." And I know you think you know what book that is an excerpt from, but you're wrong, as actually it's not the Bill Cosby autobiography. But our final choice has been helped somewhat by the fact that Blizzard have sent us a brand new copy of World of Warcraft Chronicle Volume 2, a gift as useless to us as life insurance is to Keith Richards, because come on Blizz, seriously. We're Taliesin and motherfucking Evitel. We make a channel which is pretty much dedicated to World of Warcraft. Only pretty much though, because we did do one Overwatch video once, so we are a variety channel, okay? Okay? But what I'm saying is, obviously, we have this book already. We bought it on the day it came out. So this copy that Blizzard have sent us, we're gonna give it away to you. It's yours for free, for reals, if you enter our giveaway at the end of the episode and if you win the giveaway. So if you can't be bothered listening to the rest of this and you just want to enter the giveaway, feel free to skip to the last couple of minutes of this video now. You can enter the giveaway, not listen to a word I say, and honestly, I will never even know. You are so sneaky. And if you do want to watch the review, then rest assured, it isn't going to be spoiler-tastic. This is a video about our thoughts on whether we like the book or not, and not a discussion about the minutiae of the subject matter itself. Because if you want that, you can read the book. Or if you can't be bothered reading the book, then you can read this handy synopsis on MMO Champion instead. Yeah, just read the book. So join us as we talk about World of Warcraft Chronicle Volume 2, okay? Go, 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 go. As its name suggests, Volume 2 is the second installment in the Chronicle series, designed to be the definitive account of the history and events in Warcraft, which is saying something. Warcraft Orcs and Humans came out in 1996, and since then, 21 years worth of games, books, comics, card games, and movies too, have expanded the game world into a stellar universe of characters and lore and fucking alternative timelines, which have given fans a uniquely enriched experience. By now, the lore in Warcraft is just vast, and it's one of the reasons channels like ours can even exist, and why the community for a 13-year-old game like WoW can still be so passionate and healthy, because WoW will always be more than just killing a whole ton of spiders because some old wizard told you to. Even if you are killing a whole ton of spiders, you're doing it because Khadgar told you to. A character steeped in history, meaning, and familiarity within the game world. But if each new book or comic or expansion builds on that rich game lore, so it can also muddy it too, leaving fans wondering sometimes exactly where some things fit in. Like, I don't know, just off the top of my head here, Medan, or anything that happened in Warlords of Draenor, or Medan, because seriously, what the fuck, Liz? So Chronicle is the work of WoW Supremos Chris Metzen, Matt Burns, and Robert Brooks, to take those sometimes disparate threads and weave them together into some sort of sense, a definitive account. So it's worth mentioning what the Chronicle series is not. It's not a novel. There's no deep character development here, almost nothing on a personal level at all. There's not really a narrative or story even. Chronicle is delivered very much as a history book rather than, say, a biography. And that can mean that some people may find it a little bit dry, a little bit impersonal, even if there is still room for some typical Blizzard joking around. No, seriously, Blizz, this is serious shit, okay? Stop fucking about. Just like Volume 1, the book's favourite measure of time is ages. Everything happens ages after the end of something else. The effects of events last for ages to come, and it's pretty relentless, because that's the thing about history, isn't it? It's just one fucking thing after another. And the purpose of Chronicle is to finally set those things that happened in stone. So for example, all of those doubts about where Gul'dan actually came from in our timeline, sorted in Chronicle 2. Which one of the two endings that you could get at the end of Warcraft 2 is actually canon, sorted in Chronicle 2. The precise history of the origins of the Murlocs, their society, society and traditions and fertility rituals. Well, fingers crossed for Volume 3, but you get the idea. And the brilliant thing about Chronicle is, in my opinion, it manages to never feel like a retcon. And make no mistake, there are huge, sweeping revisions going on here. Pretty much the whole second half of the comic series has been wiped out of history, sorry Madan, but it all feels natural. What changes there are managed to feel like an elegant tidying up, rather than say, it turns out Lothar was working for Hydra all along, which is a real achievement. A lot of these events are being made to fit into a timeline that actually came along later, and it always feels like everything fits. Chronicle 1 dealt with the formation of the universe and the Titans, the ordering of the elements, the formation of the Burning Legion, the shattering of Azeroth. Big ideas. What I love about Volume 2 is, for all I've just been talking about its encyclopedic style, we are getting to a point in the timeline here where the stories can afford to be a bit smaller. Only a bit though, after all, the first section of this book is about the history of Draenor, Titan constructs that die and become the terrain we walk on in-game, and the evolution of Orc society. More big stuff set over tens of thousands of years. But then things start to slow down and we focus on the emergence of Gul'dan and his influence on the events leading up to Warcraft 1. And for me, this is where stuff gets really interesting, and where Chronicle 2 surpasses its predecessor. Because this is where, for the first time, the events start to overlap into things we have actually played in-game. And that is unexpectedly magical. It says something for how long this world has existed now, that even actual video games where you play these events detailed in this book feel old and fabled, almost mythical in themselves. The events of the First and Second Wars, and then beyond the Dark Portal, are thrilling to see detailed all in one place like this. This is stuff that we all kind of know about to varying degrees, although not really, and having it all together like this is actually totally illuminating and makes sense of loads of characters and plot points that I knew about before, but now understand where they fit into the grand, overarching timeline. I always knew Shogal was important and kind of why, but now I actually understand it. I mean, I still don't care about Shogal, obviously, but I mean, I could, that's what I'm saying. And actually, because the second half of this book is essentially a detailed account of just 2 military campaigns, it makes for a far more exciting read than Volume 1 ever did. That book's account of the War of the Ancients never really transported you into the heart of the action like these stories do. I read Volume 2 in 2 sittings because of that, whereas in comparison, it took me almost a month of toilet breaks to get through Volume 1. That's probably more than you need to know, but I read Chronicle 2 even when I wasn't shitting, and that is a big deal, okay? That means it's good. For all of its successes, for me, Chronicle 2's biggest boon is its artwork. I don't need to bang on about this too much because you've been looking at the team's amazing work throughout this video, but there's a real sense of old school fantasy about these illustrations that transported me back to a time of Warhammer codexes and D&D bestiaries, of battles that are huge in scale but still with recognizable characters or troop types in the foreground. It captures one of the things that made me fall in love with fantasy in a way that, to be honest, Warcraft art has never actually managed previous to this, and that's not an exaggeration. For me, the picture that sums up the whole philosophy and purpose of Chronicle is this one. It features an event we all know about, Beyond the Dark Portal, and it gives it life. It gives us new images of characters that we have heard about but hardly ever seen in Tularyon and Alleria. It incorporates a super familiar image from one of the oldest WoW loading screens, and it even puts Khadgar as he appears in-game today into this historical context. It isn't just nice to look at, it informs the player and enriches the game world itself, as well as being a great study on the horror of war. Look, Tularyon goes from being a fresh-faced Prince William lookalike to a hard and bitter Gordon Ramsay clone. War is cruel. And that enrichment of the game world itself is what Chronicle achieves best of all for me. After reading this book, I enjoyed playing the game more. The brilliant thing about WoW is that I can log on, I can mount up, and I can travel to all of the places talked about in these pages, because every word written here is genetically ingrained into the code of this game, and vice versa. I can go and dance next to many of the characters it talks about, and even better, I can take part in their continuing adventures. Like I say, it's a surprisingly magical feeling, and one that I expect will only become more tangible when we get to Volume 3 and head to Lordaeron and Arthas. If you love WoW lore, then you already own this book, but if you enjoy playing the game, even on a casual level, then Chronicle Volume 2 will breathe new life into the world you play in by telling you about its past. And by the way, that's something that happens in the real world too. Read your history, kids, seriously. Obviously, as someone who loves fantasy and who loves Warcraft, I cannot recommend Chronicle 2 enough, which is why, because I love you, like really love you, I'm going to give it to you. To win our giveaway and a brand new copy, which, look, no fucking around, is still shrink wrapped, then all you have to do is answer one simple question. At some point in this video, I have totally defaced a glorious piece of Blizzard artwork by hiding a picture of Totoro behind a major lore character. All you have to do is email us at TaliesinandEvitel@gmail.com with the subject line Chronicle and tell us in that email who the lore character is. Simple. Which also means that if you did skip straight through to the giveaway, then fuck you, because you have to go and watch the video anyway. Psych! The closing date for all of this is 11:59 PM GMT on Saturday the 6th of May 2017. Good luck. So what about you guys? Have you read Chronicle? What do you think of those changes that they have made? Do you agree with my review, or am I talking out of my chogal? Let us know in the comments below. And thanks for joining us today. As always, an extra special big thanks to all of our patrons who are making these videos possible right now, because they are just wonderful and kind, like David Attenborough. In fact, I think it's pretty accurate to say that all of our patrons are exactly as awesome as David Attenborough, so thank you, gang. Thank you to Blizzard themselves for supplying our book, our awesome prize for this giveaway. We'll be back for the weekly reset on Friday, and then the results of our birthday transmog competition soon after that. Some ridiculous entries there, can't wait to get down and party with those. But for now, from me, Taliesin,
and me, Evitel,
cheerio.